Am I the butthole for continuing to cut my own hair, instead of paying to have my cousin's new wife cut it? I've only had my hair professionally done one time in my life. I know the snarky response is yeah, and everyone can tell or something like that. I learned to do my hair as a teen. I'm 36 and struggling, have 4 roommates to help pay rent, and just don't have the extra money for luxuries outside getting a bottle of $3 Chuck every other paycheck. Sure, I wish my life was Sex and the City, getting my hair did and nails with the girls sipping $8 cocktails, but that's not the lot I was given, so be it. Kathy married into my family, and she does hair for a living. Last time at a family get-together she zeroed in on me and made a joke like time for a haircut? And I said, oh yeah, I need to trim the ends soon. She gasped dramatically, put her hand on her chest, and was like, you need to? Oh sweetie, that's what I'm here for. Let's get you in, okay? I shook my head no and said no thanks, I cut my own hair. She looked appalled and said, honey, it's okay, I'll be gentle. I just said no thanks again, and went on with the gathering. My cousin announced that Kathy's happy to cut hair for us for a discounted rate and that we need to support one another. Kathy just looked at me and smiled knowingly. I was annoyed but just ignored it until like a week later, my cousin texted me to ask if I was interested in using Kathy's services, and that she had some openings this weekend. I said no thanks. He pushed the issue saying come on, support a family member who has had a rough year with the shutdowns. I just responded, it's out of my budget. He responded with wow, okay. I guess it's too much to ask you to support us. I wrote back I have $15 to last me until my next paycheck. Are you going to support me? Then waited 10 seconds, and sent didn't think so. Mom called me later and said that Kathy was just trying to get me to break out of a rut, and was trying to be helpful, and that getting my hair done in a new way might be empowering for me. Then she said that maybe I can adjust my budget and drop a few things to make room to support someone in the family going through a hard time. I asked her bluntly, why no one in the family has ever pushed everyone around to help me, and she just got quiet and said, oh, sweetie. And hanged up. Am I the butthole? Absolutely not the butthole. If Kathy wanted to empower you, she would do it for free. If she really wanted to be nice and offer a haircut, she would do it for free. You will never be TA for being broke and not wanting to frivolously spend money. I agree. Mom doesn't understand that original poster can't give up anything to have money for a haircut. She's living with roommates and living check to check. What is she supposed to give up? Food, power, water, gas for her car, etc. Oh sweetie, why don't you just not buy shampoo or simply not eat or just walk everywhere so you can pay someone to do something you can do? Oh sweetie, don't you understand by now you're not important? The weirdest part is this is Op's mom. Who is sided with her nephew's wife against her own child? That is weird. She wants to impress her nephew's wife. She doesn't care about impressing her daughter. 100%, this. Making a good impression on the new family at the cost of your longtime family. Funny that mom doesn't offer to pay. I suspect it doesn't actually have anything to do with the hairdresser. I think the mom doesn't think very highly of the original poster and doesn't like the way the original poster looks. I suspect helping a family member out is much more about trying to pressure the original poster into changing than really helping. This whole situation is so familiar. It stinks of the same bullcrap I grew up with. You're so pretty but you'd be so pretty if never love as you are all this is how you can change to be worthy, but maybe I'm biased. I think you're beautiful just the way you are. I second this. This situation sounds suspiciously similar to my emotionally abusive mother attempting to control my appearance. Exactly my thought. My mom still offers to pay my haircuts even though I can, and do, easily pay for myself. This is just wild to me. It is weird, but I think a lot of times parents are harder on their own kids than other people do, because they see the kids as a reflection of them. Knowing that someone sees their kid in a bad light stresses them out. They're all about optics. Obviously, I think original poster is not the butthole. I've stopped getting haircuts altogether with the pandemic, just tie it up and forget about it. But seeing kids as an extension of them means, they are not seeing their kids. Yep. That's exactly what it means. I flat out think that some parents don't see their kids as people at this point because of this sub. Original poster's mom wouldn't suggest a stranger give up a bill or grocery money to make mom look good to people, because a stranger is a person. A lot of people don't. Children are an extension of themselves and a reflection of their personal failings. It's a crafty way to raise children. I mean, people do hold parents accountable for actions of kids. I remember when I was in my mid-20s and decided to remove some family members from my Facebook. Hours later, I got a phone call from my mom, upset, because they asked her why I had done it. I literally had to contact people, point out they all still have my email and phone number and they can ask me, not my mom. Moral of the story: parents feel responsible because some people will hold them accountable for actions of their kids, even if the kid is an adult. My sister went NC with some extended relatives years ago and they still snark on a lot of my mom's posts. That's sad. She should be looking out for original poster. Maybe she's S people pleaser, but then sacrifice yourself. Note original poster. Narcissistic people pleasers are the worst. I am tired of seeing such weird parents on Reddit. I mean, how do you, when you have so much time to keep worrying about other people's kids, ignore your own child? And top it off by asking them to constantly make space for or help other members, knowing that it will visibly put their own children at a disadvantage? Some parents only care about image and having a huge circle of people they can hang out with. Smiley face. Narcissists don't use logic. They want to look good. Op, who is not the butthole, is making her look bad. Op failed to obey the family edict to overly welcome this woman. It doesn't matter to the narcissist that basic needs aren't met. It matters that original poster is disobeying and not playing the enabling game. Op, you're fine, but I hope things get better for you. You are not obligated to go along with the demands or any other demands that put you in harm's way, and you asked a very fair and good question. This. So true. Did you see the one about the woman whose best friend had sex with original poster's boyfriend and all three families were best friends, so everyone, even the siblings, hid it from her? Then the parent kept demanding original poster be there for her ex and ex-best friend even years later? For some reason that one is imprinted in my brain. It was so heartbreaking. Op ran away and years later her family wanted money and said she had to forgive them and spend time with them. Ick. Yes. I did, and it stuck with me too. How can people be so indifferent to their own children? She was betrayed and abandoned by all sides. It was so sad. Do you have a link to that one? It sounds like a wild ride. It's sad, but I genuinely think there's more parents like this than there are good ones. Exactly. All three of them are so ingratiating, it's a cringe-worthy read. Original poster is so far beyond not the butthole on this. I like how mom or anyone else in the family won't even front the poor girl $15. She's struggling so much, and all the family members just don't care. This is way past just a haircut. Original poster is barely surviving and these people just don't care. I just NC everyone at that point. That's just so messed up. Op doesn't need that kind of stress in her life. I could not believe that the mother did not offer her a gift of the haircut when she had the nerve to call her about it, and I am amazed that she would even have the nerve to place the call in the first place. This. I'm a parent and I'm on disability. I have to watch my money, too, but if my daughter called me up and said she needed money for a haircut, I'd transfer her the money on the spot. If she needed money for food or medication, I'd transfer it, no question. Mom's mouth sure shut when it was her money at issue. Mom wants original poster to have a professional haircut? Mom needs to pay. Op should have just thanked her mom for offering to pay for her new haircut. I wonder how that would have gone down, lol. I don't know why this is, but it's the avocado toast crap. Many people have it easier than others have, and even if they know logically that not everyone has the same resources, they still believe that if you can't afford a house/care/ going out to eat/ haircuts etc., that you must be mismanaging your finances somehow. And then they latch onto any small evidence of that, like you have a decent phone or you sometimes buy coffees or they see booze in your fridge. It's the boomers. They were able to support a family of 4 on one income. What the hell is wrong with you? Never mind that people are objectively poorer now than in the 1970s, 80s, and 90s. Never mind that we all have student loans to pay back. Never mind that we can't be promoted as quickly as they could back in the day. It's the avocado toast. Well, if only I had known that saving $20 per month on a small tree for myself would allow me to purchase a home for $600,000, about the cheapest you can find in my high-call area. If only I had saved and invested that $20 per month for the last 10 years, I'd be a millionaire by now. Yet another manifestation of the US insistence that if you're poor, it's your fault and your fault alone. I lived in apartments my entire life until this year. Some of my family were so critical of living in apartments rather than buying a house and moving every few years. My grandmother told me the same story 100 times, about how she and my grandfather ate nothing but basic sandwiches for an entire year, and at the end of the year they were able to purchase a home. Apparently, bologna sandwiches are the key to homeownership. I just started being really explicit about costs in my area, pointing out that the whole cost of the house I grew up in would barely be a down payment where I live seemed to do the trick. That's what I did when my grandpa questioned why I was having trouble finding an apartment I could afford. He didn't believe a crappy studio could cost $850 a month. I did this with my dad too. He said I'd only need like $20,000 as a down payment. I showed him that $20,000 won't even be enough for a down payment on a condo that's smaller than my current one-bedroom apartment. For a house, you need $120,000. He couldn't believe it. Then I showed him my paychecks. He doesn't mention money nearly as much now. I was once walking with a coffee and was accosted by people fundraising for charities. This was the days of working 3 jobs to get by, and when I told her I couldn't afford to support a charity right now, I got a snarky comment asking how I paid for my coffee. With a gift card I got for Christmas. She shut up and stopped trying. This sounds both hilarious and terribly awkward. I'm not often very clever in the moment, but I was pretty proud of having a good retort to them. Though it's a good charity, my family actually supports them quite a bit. Yes, I'm going to ask you to donate and then be rude and make a snarky comment. That'll make me want to donate. Gift card or no, you've already spent your money. I cut my hair too, and honestly, after you do it for free, pretty much anything after is too expensive. I don't cut it because I can do it better, I do it because I'm broke and I can do it good enough. Laughing out loud, all of this is just rude on Kathy's part. It stops being a helpful favor when you have to push to be allowed to do it. Kathy also seems to be taking about you with other family members. How is that helpful? Doesn't anyone else in the family have hair? Why you? The whole "come on honey" thing sounds condescending as hell. Now she's gotten your mother involved. Steer clear of this troublemaker. Not the butthole. Yes, this. Doesn't anyone else in the family have hair? Right, what about that? Why are they all trying to improve original poster and make her life better? Condescending is right. To me it seems like original poster haircut might be an issue to the family, or they see it as a way out, like, they don't want this girl they don't know to mess with their hair, so let's all jump on the opportunity to tell original poster to do it since she is the first one Kathy suggested it to. Not the butthole. Exactly. Agree, not the butthole. I don't care if it's cutting hair to slinging MLM crap, whether you're family, friend, or stranger. You get a polite no once to your solicitation. If you go for the hard sell after that, you are the one who has broken etiquette and are being rude, and I no longer feel compelled to continue to be respectful. Cornering someone for a hard sell at a family event and then getting family to go after you? That's nearing NC level for me, because it clearly shows how little this person respects me and how few boundaries they have, and that's not something I need in my life. Not the butthole. You have a toxic family. You were polite and they pushed and pushed. Good for you for calling them out. Absolutely not the butthole. What is wrong with your mom that she doesn't even listen to your financial condition? It's presumptuous of her to suggest that you rearrange your budget to support your cousin's in-law. She should have been like, Mom, thank you so much for offering to pay. I agree, that would be empowering. And just watch her flounder. Lol, you must me in my head. I was just commenting how my mom tricked me into a haircut at the beginning of the pandemic, her treat, she said. Ironically, the gifted cut had only been scheduled after I asked my mom to cut my hair in desperation because it looked like crap, places were closed, and I was broke anyways. I'd have rather have had my mom do a completely hack job but gift me another haircut. She'd cut it plenty of times before when I was broke and it was never too awful, But no, I needed the empowerment of a professional apparently. My mom specifically told me she'd buy me a haircut, cover the whole thing, and set it up, all that, a pick-me-up for my broke, unemployed ass. Well, she booked with a friend who cuts hair and was desperate for work and making house calls, despite my mom not knowing her prices. I don't think to ask for a dollar amount promise from my mom because, as she'd said, it was covered and she'd booked the appointment herself. Day of, hair cutter shows up at my house, I sit down and find out that the cut is $150, and little do I know my mom is only volunteering $40 for this free haircut she's giving me. Now, this person was a family friend and had driven an hour to my house to cut my hair, so I did it, and was out $110 suddenly because my mom wasn't offering to cover the rest once she found out the cost. Afterward, my mom claimed that was an absurd price, to me privately, not to the hair cutter, and would only give me $40 because haircuts shouldn't cost that much. Getting the $40 from her was uncomfortable, but at that point I needed it, and frankly I was pissed she'd put me in that situation when she well could afford a $150 haircut and then explicitly knew I couldn't, but still refused to pay me back, which I felt horrible asking for and didn't push, and barely wanted to give me the $40, because it's such an insignificant amount to her, but 4 hours of work if I was able to get scheduled for shifts, which I wasn't, because I was out of a job. I was there with her when she got monthly $90 haircuts in the 90s. No way had she thought they'd be cheaper now. She just didn't care about screwing me over because $110 missing from her budget doesn't greatly affect her life, but $110 missing from my budget is dire. I ended up putting off seeing the dentist, using my credit card, and only got saved by my unemployment going through, or else it would have been rice and beans for much longer. And I had savings when the pandemic began. I didn't want to have to experience begging for emergency money from a woman who'd just conned me into spending money I didn't have on a effing haircut and balked when the bill came. The professional haircut looked great, but the experience was not empowering. It was effing horrible. It made me feel small and poor and trapped and powerless. And I know that hair stylist was in the same boat I was, broke and desperate for work. She was just charging her usual prices. She had been hired and made the commute and needed to pay rent too probably, but if doing something for me didn't feel awful. Not the butthole. Kathy isn't doing this out of the kindness of her heart. She is hustling you for money because you're a captive audience since you're family. I guess your cousin thought that it's easier to guilt and pressure family members than friends are because you can't stop being family with someone. If she were about to do your hair for free, then this would be a different story. But it's out of your budget and they're being extremely pushy, which is irritating as hell. Stand your ground. You so can stop being family with somebody. You cannot stop the DNA connection, but you can cut family out of your life as you can friends. True story. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.